Hi and welcome to the 3ds Max Basic Texture Import tutorial. This tutorial will cover the basics of how to get model with textures applied from 3ds Max into Ventuz. More details, tips and tricks will be available soon in a separate tutorial. I just saved a sphere on News Globe from a virtual set. This News Globe construction has already baked textures applied. I used the Ventuz renderer from 3ds Max to prepare the textures. The textures are complete maps. That means they have everything included, like reflections, lighting, ambient occlusions, glows, etc. Ventuz is included with your 3ds Max license, and ambient occlusion maps can be generated or rendered out very quickly and smooth. Okay, let's have a look at the materials. For such simple texturing, I use the Compact Material Editor. The Slate Material Editor is a powerful tool, and it's node-based like Ventuz. You should definitely spend some time to get used to the Slate Material Editor. Anyway, the News Globe construct is made of 6 materials, just standard materials with a simple texture in the diffuse slot. This is the easiest way of getting your textures exported to Ventuz. Ventuz will just take the texture in the diffuse material slot and use it in the texture node. We will use the Open Collider exporter from the Kronos group since it simplifies the process and copies the texture for us into an image folder next to our exported model. It's easier for us to find and locate textures, and you have your models and textures together in one place. The model is made of 14 objects. Each of the objects have textures except the small blackish light bulbs. This is a base. The base, for example, has a diffuse texture applied. It's a globe base complete map. If we have a look at the texture, you can see the unwrapped UV set, and you can see the texture has padding. Padding is important and means the last pixels of a UV seam will be repeated. Most game engines need around 2 pixels more space, else you will notice black or transparent borders around your seams. The same you will notice with Ventuz. If your seams are too close to the pixel border, you will see black lines at the seams. As you have seen, there is already a mapping on the object. I simply use the standard unwrapping function of Max, which is not that good, but enough to get some results. So if you compare the UV set with the baked texture, you see everything fits. So okay, cool. All we need to do in the end is select all objects for export, click the 3ds Max menu, export, export selected. Let's navigate to our location. Give it a nice name, like News Globe, and hit Save. Now at the Open Collider export dialog, most important setting is to have the copy images selected. This will take all the related textures or images applied to the model and copy them into one location next to our export. You see the black windows popping up? This was the batch process to copy the images. Okay, let's switch to Ventuz. Click File, Import, Geometry. Here is our News Globe, and here are the textures inside the images folder. So we import the globe, and as you can barely see, our textures are imported with our model. Set to have the subset based on original hierarchy, so it keeps everything as it was in Max. Important thing is with textures in 3ds Max to have flip UV coordinates checked. If your imported model looks somehow strange mapped, I'm sure it's because you didn't flip the UV coordinates. This is a must. The other important but default setting is to import the textures into a project. So, okay, the model looks good in the preview. Let's click Import. And here we go. All we need to do is set up the camera, an orbit cam with a greater distance set. And as usual for 3ds Max imported geometry, place an axis in front of your model and rotate it 90 degrees in the x-axis. Okay, this one looks ugly, but it's just because of the imported material settings. We have pre-baked textures, therefore we will discard all imported materials, not the textures, just the materials. So we select, or better click, the materials with the Ctrl and Shift and simply press Delete to delete them. And you see, the model is already better lit right now. So what I'm gonna do is place a color node with plain white in front of the geometry. It would be the same as if you rise up the emissive in a standard material. For the light bulbs, I select them all and place them in a group together. And place the color node again in front of the light bulbs. A bit bluish. Okay. So, finally a mover to rotate the camera around our model. Et voila, our mesh with pre-baked textures.